What is up, everybody, and welcome into the Winner's Lounge.
Yeah, dude, I can get used to this, huh?
Man, what a game. That was the best game of the night. Yeah. That was the best. I mean, man, down to the wire, you guys.
I will say, people were loud in the bar.
People
At some
were
weird
so
times
loud
in the
very
basketball
weird
game.
times they were
Cheering
loud.
randomly.
Nuggets get the win over the Detroit Pistons. Were the Pistons good? No. Was this win good? No. But it was a win, and we are in the Winner's Lounge. We will take it. 117-111. Nikola Jokic completely dominates. DeMarcus Cousins makes his debut. The new look bench has some interesting things. No shortage of storylines for us to get to, and to talk about those things, I got my good friend, D-Line Co.
Oh, man, you caught me off guard with that intro.
Didn't know what I
I
was
thought
talking about.
for sure you were going to someone else after that. Here I am, guys. I knew it was going to happen because why? They lost the last game. I think I'm going to skip next game.
God, man. There's no way they lose this next game. I've also got Bryn Vogt in the house. He's more bubbly than Eric.
Having a great night because we got to watch 3 all-time performances from Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Nikola Jokic. Just 3 great quarterback performances today.
If you had to rank them, how would you rank them?
Jokic first, of course. Probably
Yeah,
just
other two
because
I don't really care about, to be honest
just
with
because
you.
of the circumstances, you know
cut
what I
the
mean?
list off right there.
January
cut the list off.
game,
The other two
Detroit,
tied for
you gotta-
irrelevant.
You got to get that one, and he did.
Man, you guys, Jokic on a tear. The whole season, really his career. It's just been a great stretch.
So 34, 9, 8, 2, and 1, arguably his worst line in the last 6 games.
Not even arguably. I think inarguably.
Yeah.
His worst stat line, at least over this one's.
Already, wow.
Wow, we're
King
not
of the
even.
game.
You're not even gonna let us like tease it for a little bit. Like,
That's how it works.
hey,
That's good producing.
Usually we
He
like
took
to
the cue.
we'll tease. We'll be like, who's king of the game? We don't. All right.
King of the
DraftKings
game.
Sportsbook king of the game is Jokic. 34 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Literally did everything.
The timing of the King of the Game graphic is directly relevant to how quickly Kale had it made.
That's so true.
As soon as he
had it ready to go. We salute him for it. We were joking. We were like, Zeke Nnaji played pretty good tonight. It's like, all right, come on, we're not doing this thing. Let's start with Yoke, guys. I'm going to read you off, and I just did this actually on Twitter, so I'm going to read you guys my tweets. This is great. Good
Oh,
podcasting
man.
here. Nikola Jokic over the last 5 games. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change up mine. I'm going to start and go the entire homestand because this was a 6-game homestand. My tweet sucks now that I realized I should have just done the
What do you
whole
mean now,
homestand.
first off?
20 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists in 28 minutes. If you guys remember, the Nuggets won by 32, so he didn't play the fourth quarter of that game. So his stats kind of sucked. 28 and 7. He followed that up with 17, 12, and 13. Also, another game he only played 28 minutes. 25, 15, and 14 the next game. That's a triple-double, monster triple-double.
14 assists, triple-double.
This is arguably the greatest statistical game of his career. 49 points, 14 rebounds, and 10. Man, I got an echo going on in here. What's going on here? What's going on? There
man.
it is. 26, 11,
Not
and
so
12.
super tonight.
And then tonight,
Just kidding,
34, 9, and 8. Guys, he has not shot below 50% on any game during this homestand. In fact, his worst shooting night was 56%. And he had 4 triple-doubles out of 6 games.
D-line, I have a hard time grading Jokic night in, night out because you go, all right, like I guess it's an A+, but he gets better than, you know what I mean? Like every night he's very good, but what's his best? This homestand is an A+, even by his current standard. Jokic is on a roll.
I know. You need to be like a tiger mom with Jokic and just criticize him harshly, even when he succeeds, to make sure that you push him to his ultimate limit. But then his self-esteem is destroyed in the end. But all the same, then he's a dentist.
My only critique, the only critique I have of Yoke really over the stretch is that he didn't get the ball more, and that's not even a critique of him. It's not even his fault. Like, honestly, he was limited. Those numbers should have been higher. It's just the team sometimes struggles to get him the ball. I mean, honestly, this is some of the best basketball we've seen him play. I honestly believe this. I think it's some of the best basketball we've seen in his career. The stretch.
I think he's at the highest level he's ever been, D-line.
He's just the thing is it's so. This does not feel to me like the most spectacular basketball of his career because I'm like, there's only been the one game where I was like, holy shit,
really?
The Clippers game?
Yeah, the Clippers game when I was like, man, this is the baddest dude on earth. The other games are just like so like. He's just so dominant, but in a way that's just steady. He's like the ocean. Like he just keeps smashing. You can't fight him back. But like there have been moments where he feels like I mean, I know you're looking at the numbers, but having watched the games, like I was I've not been struck by like the dominance of Jokic, even though it's there. Like,
I think my opinion of this, the Utah game, he went 25, 15, and 14, and I remember thinking he was like God. It's just that he was a +5 in that game. They lost by 23. So I think it disguised the fact
potentially, yeah.
But I mean, they won the minutes he was on the court. It's just that it was so bad whenever he stepped off. But
the Lakers game, he dominated to the point where he didn't have to play that much, right?
So, yeah, exactly. The Laker game actually was a pretty big ass. Like Dwight Howard, remember he was going at Dwight there and kind of played him off. In fact, Dwight ended up getting taken out the game. So I don't know, man. Like you're right that I think what is happening here. I'm trying to read your psychology here. I think what happened was that Clippers game really was like the most aggressive, the most FU we've ever seen.
For sure.
So that the other games almost are less than compared, but they're actually historically great.
I know what you mean. I mean like spectacular meaning like it didn't feel like a show in the same way. Like this Clippers game felt. There are times when Jokic just like goes off and just goes to another level and just makes the other team feel like they have no shot. This is like the team is so heavily reliant on him during this stretch that he delivers in ways that are, I mean, it's not that they're not impactful, and I'm not trying to argue against Jokic being the greatest player on earth. I just mean like there have been other stretches that have felt more spectacular to me.
Vogt, are you as completely unimpressed as Eric is with Jokic?
No,
do you also hit Jokic? Or
to me, I think right
just
now,
Eric?
I mean, I recognize that doing anything in the playoffs is going to count more or whatever, but just I think as like infallible as he's ever looked right now.
Yeah.
In fact, the two ways to stop him are to do everything you can to just not let him get to the ball to the point where you will literally leave other players by 10 feet.
Yeah.
Or just foul the shit out of him and maybe they won't call it. And that's it. Those are your only two options left. And if you don't do that, he will crush you.
Yep.
Detroit didn't commit to doubles tonight. There was some late help every nat here and there, especially at the end of the third. But for the most part, they did not touch Jokic the second he touched the ball. And I felt like he could have scored 100 effing points.
Easy.
He is, dude. I've overused this, but it is the scene from the end of the Matrix where he looks down the hallway, he sees the agents, and all of a sudden it's in the code, and he realizes there's nothing I can't do.
Right.
That's how Jokic is playing the game of basketball right now.
So you have a great prediction.
It's Trey Lyles.
Yeah, it's Trey Lyles, our old friend. You had a great prediction about Isaiah Stewart because Isaiah Stewart goes 8 of 8 tonight, and he battled Jokic. Like the thing you love about Isaiah Stewart is he just plays hard, man. That guy's a dog. He is not afraid. He'll go at you. You want to share your prediction of Isaiah Stewart?
He was going to maybe get off to a good start and then overplay him a little bit?
No. You already forgot your best take. It's that he's going to pull a Mitchell Robinson, and he's probably going to be interviewed tonight after the game about going against Jokic.
Oh, yeah, you can
I don't know
feel
what's so
that,
special about it. I don't feel like he did anything good.
I felt like I played great defense. He just knocked him down.
Yeah. Remember Mitchell Robinson got cooked and was like, I don't think he's that special. Like you could see Isaiah Stewart not really realizing that he was just getting cooked tonight.
That's true. I forgot
my
own
I
take.
battled too. Did you guys not see? I had some
I'm not trying to worry about. I'm not sweating either.
So we got that over here. Got to the foul line 10 times. I felt like he probably should have got 16, 17, 18, but hey, 10 is still more than his average.
10. When you said 10, my heart leapt. That's a double-digit foul attempts for Jokic.
Needed them all tonight.
That's a dub. Yes, he needed every one of them. This game, man.
Now the road trip, and it'll be so curious to see. I mean, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but that was a homestand. That was a get-right homestand, kind of getting a groove, and I think unsurprisingly, Jokic played some great ball. But another thing, and we talked about this once, I think, sometime earlier in the week, I think another reason Jokic is playing so well over this stretch is that he finally has back Will Barton, Monte Morris. Tonight he didn't have Jeff Green. Maybe the reason he didn't get a triple-double tonight, no Jeff Green. So you actually take one piece of the cog out. You give him Austin Rivers, who
won't shoot the ball.
Yeah, so maybe it was one of. Although he did come in clutch down the stretch. So got to back off Austin Rivers slander for a little bit. He came up clutch at the end. But, you give him all of the guys that, best suit him, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's going off. I really think there's something to it. And it makes me excited for when Jamal Murray and or Michael Porter Jr. return. You think, my God, if he's doing this with these guys, what's he going to do with them?
I, too, am excited for Jamal Murray to return.
You are?
Yes, based on Jokic stats.
You're feisty tonight. You're really feisty.
Well, listen, I'm just sick of you guys. So
I am dying to know though, what does this version of Jokic look like if teams can't simply triple team him, I mean, what does it look like? Right. I really want to know.
Dude, it's going to be out of control.
It's true. I mean, you want to temper expectations for the guys returning, but it will happen at some point this season. It will look different.
I think the most LeBron team of all time was the 2016 Cavs because they had spacing everywhere. And they had a secondary ball creator, with Kyrie Irving. But they had shooters everywhere. You even remember Channing Frye out there, Kevin Love. You got even Richard Jefferson was a good floor spacer. Kyle Korver. They just had shooters everywhere. And as a result, LeBron put up his ridiculously historic numbers. So I think similar things are true of Jokic. Of like right now, man, if you could just give him a little bit more shooting, I think he just like goes out and does 17-point quarters on the regular just because he's like, what are you guys going to do? You're not going to double? You're going to absolutely suffer. The next thing that I think was most interesting about this game, besides the bench, which we're going to get to, but I almost think we need a whole segment for DeMarcus Cousins, his debut, all this and that. But to set the table on that, there was another change besides DeMarcus Cousins playing tonight that I thought was very interesting, and that was that Michael Malone swapped Will Barton and Monte Morris's roles. Usually, Will Barton is the one who goes to the bench early, and then he is tasked with trying to carry the bench. Tonight, it was flipped. And here's a weird thing where I want to go with it. Monte Morris had a bad game tonight. 4 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, so he got the assist job done, only 1 turnover, but he goes 1 of 9 shooting. Now, I think the Nuggets, I tweeted this out. Monte Morris, right now, this version of him might be the most important Nugget besides Jokic in terms of you look at, did they win, did they lose? Well, let me see. How did Monte do? Did he score the basket as that guy in the pick and roll? You switch it up and he has a bad game. How do you kind of grade this new rotation? And in particular, do you think it had an effect on Monte, or is it just he missed shots tonight?
It could have. I'm going to rewatch that portion for this reason, because he comes in and then it's Facu on the floor with him and not Reed, which is really interesting.
Right.
And by the way, I'm curious if Reed was on track to get in this game at all before Barton picked up his 3rd foul and then Reed comes in. But we can get to that. But it was Monte Facu next to each other, which feels like something you can and probably should avoid. I would have to rewatch that. Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't remember the spacing being drastically different or whatever. Maybe Monte just missed shots, but that's a good point.
It did seem like, just anecdotally, Monte was kind of rushing a little bit, like he was put into a position that maybe he is not that comfortable with. Like some mid-ranges that were sort of at the end of the shot clock, he was sort of rushing into them. He didn't look like that comfortable. So I didn't think about it at the time, but now that you mentioned that actually makes a lot of sense.
It's just interesting sometimes when you take somebody. I mean, we remember this with PJ Dozier. PJ Dozier and Jokic, it's like, man, this guy looks like a Jokic player, this or that. You put him in a lineup that doesn't make sense. He looks awful.
Yeah.
Maybe Monte Morris is a little bit more, and it also, maybe it gives you a little bit of a hint. Actually, here's a good theory. You want to put a tinfoil hat on. Cue the tinfoil hat here, Kale. Tinfoil hat. Maybe, just maybe, Michael Malone is thinking, Jamal Murray's coming back here pretty quick. We need to get Monte used to playing with the bench.
Oh, wow.
We got to get him back there because you know what? We need to. I got an actual literal tinfoil hat. There it is.
Let's mic check me on that.
Hey, you guys, come in here. I gotta.
You look like you shouldn't be allowed near children.
You know what it looks like? It looks like you went to a high-end restaurant that sends you leftovers home, dressed up like a stingray or something.
You go. Guys.
Did I hate it when that happened?
What do you guys think of this theory? I think Murray's coming back soon. They're trying to get him used to the bench.
I love it. What's the argument against that? That's exactly what's happening.
I mean, the argument against it is it's happened one game and there's a new second lineup, so it's probably that. But who knows?
Dude, we can't delve into this take. Neither of our brains are protected by tinfoil. You alone have to.
Oh wow. Jamal Murray tonight, I was told, did not go through a workout. Oh, he's in COVID protocols. That's right. That's why he wasn't there. Yeah, he had to enter the COVID protocols.
This hat, it looks as though it's been run over. It probably has.
It has been run over.
It's wider than
a great hat. It's not a great hat anymore. It had its day, but it's a little disheveled. Anyway, Monte Morris to me is a guy that I just think he's like a control. When you see him and he plays well, usually the Nuggets played well. When he plays poorly, they don't. Interesting, somebody brought this up to me on Twitter. Next game at Detroit. Well, that's where Monte's from, right? He's from Michigan. So that's always a game where he has a lot of family in town. Yep. So if ever there was a bounce-back, get-right game, I think it'll be then. He's been good, too. So, any final thoughts on Jokic or Monte before we hit our first break?
Well, just one thing about Monte that I think – it's been about 2 months since he or Will stayed in front of anyone on the perimeter. And
Corey Joseph was murdering him.
Shout out Will for that switch and steal at the end. But you are right, I think, about Monte's role within the offense. I do think, though, one issue right now for me that we've almost just sort of come to accept is just how bad this defense has been. And I really am looking at Monte and Will first and foremost to step it up. And I just don't know if we see them step it up in the roles that they're in. So excited about the idea of Monte going back to the bench because that's where he should be.
Dude, are we going to mention the game itself, the overall arc of this ridiculous game?
What is the arc?
Just the furious and improbable and ridiculous comeback that Detroit mounted in the fourth quarter.
Did mount it.
When they were up, the Nuggets were up by 15 points, and then all of a sudden Detroit could not miss a three-pointer, regardless who was shooting. Corey Joseph, Cade Cunningham, what is going on?
Linz, is this you?
We are suddenly at a quinceañera. It's just I don't know what it is about the Nuggets right now.
Is it because you cracked the jalapeno
that's exactly what it is.
Rider?
Yeah. Crazy game. I don't really understand what's happening. The Nuggets are confusing. The NBA is confusing. No one on the set or upstairs is paying attention to what I'm saying. No one is acknowledging they're on a show anymore. There are thousands of people watching us, and I'm the only one engaged.
That's so true.
It's very distracting. Is all I'm saying is it's very distracting.
It is really distracting.
It's like really distracting.
I'm hearing it too. Am I the only professional on this goddamn panel?
You might be.
I've long said that about
you made quick reference. We've long said you're the one. You made quick reference to this, but Monte was really struggling with Corey Joseph. Corey Joseph got it cooking a little bit there for a short stretch, right as his clutch times, tie game or 2-point game. And Will Barton pushed him off. Basically said, switch, I got him. He's scoring every time. Let me shut him down. Gets the steal. Might have been the play of the game, honestly. If there was one play, that was probably it. So we'll talk about Will Barton in the next segment after we talk about the bench and after we hit our first break.
Whether you're at a quinceañera, the DNVR bar, or just watching the Nuggets at home, you're going to want to do it with the Mile High City Copper Lager. That's the Denver Nuggets themed beer and can from Breckenridge Brewery.
If you turn 15,
you're sweet. Yeah,
if it's your 15th birthday, you cannot have it.
If you're stuck at someone else's 15-year-old birthday, you probably should. If you're not sure where to find Mile High City Copper Lager, try the Breck Beer Locator. It's a sick tool. It's pretty straightforward. It tells you where to find the beer. So just look at that. Look for that. If you want to order booze or food from the farmhouse, you can. Call 303-803-1380 from 12 p.m. 8 p.m. for pickup. And when you do, use code DNVR to save $5.
Dude, they have a cornbread there?
Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. Damn good beer. Check them out. And then, of course, if you went to any of our tailgates Broncos season, you saw or tasted or smelled sexy pizza.
And you probably got hugged by me, whether you wanted it or not.
That part I can confirm.
Just kidding. No one wanted.
Now, you might be wondering to yourself, what is sexy pizza? Well, it is a pizza place, so that's good. That's a good start. And then from there, they also have signature philanthropies. They're Colorado, baby. They're local. So when you order one of those philanthropies, a portion of the proceeds will go to one of various non-profits across your great state of Colorado. So, Sexy Pizza, check them out. By the way, if you want to know how Sexy Pizza can cater your event, Google their website, because I didn't open the read. Sexy.pizza.
How do you forget sexy.pizza?
Did you really forget sexy.pizza?
What is this? Wow. What is happening?
Why don't you go sit up on the floor?
I never asked to do reads. You guys decide every night.
Like,
I should do it.
Who was that guy at a good game? Jokic? What is that?
All right, here we go. Back here, second segment here. Guys, I have a great announcement, a very exciting announcement. Kel, go ahead and throw this on the screen. You guys, we haven't done this for 2 years. For 2 years was the last time we had a live podcast show, and we are doing it next Saturday, less than a week. We are doing the Goaties 2021. We're looking back at the year 2021. It was a year that happened.
A year that happened.
A year that happened. It is a year that happened. And we're going to look back at the highs, the lows, the mediums, all of the things in between. It's going to be fun. So if you don't know, a live show, it's like we're going to have people on. If you're in the audience, you get to come on up and debate Eric at a certain point.
Yeah,
we're going to have
it, you losers.
We're going to have a live online with D-Line little segment here.
Yeah, click it, you losers.
So you guys, if you ever wanted to be online with D-Line, mark it in your calendars. Next Saturday, 6 o'clock, we're going to get here doing the fan vote. We're going to have like photo booth. We're going to have some fun stuff. And then, of course, we're going to hand out the awards for Newcomer of the Year, Team of the Year, Player of the Year, Moment of the Year, Game of the Year.
Let me just go through.
I can't remember what the other one was, but
Athlete
one other
of the
one.
Year, Jokic. Team of the Year, Nuggets.
Jokic better win Athlete of the Year.
Game of the Year. Any of the Nuggets games, pick them.
Yeah, they were all great. So put that in your calendars, guys. We'll be doing that on Saturday. There's no Nuggets game, so you're safe. All right, let's get in. DeMarcus Cousins, guys, made his Denver Nuggets debut, and how weird is that to say?
Yo, it was really weird to watch, for sure. A lot of conflicting emotions inside old Eric. When he first came on, I was like, oh, sick. This is cool. Like, how fun. Like, now, who was once my enemy is now my friend. And then he missed every shot.
Man, he had an air ball the first play, two missed free throws right after.
Missed layup, and then he started, like, pouting like he does, and I was like, oh, my God. I'm like, what has this season turned me into? Who am I?
I don't know. I missed the vibes there. Remember when Eric was the vibes master?
Dude.
You've had conflicted vibes all year, bro.
You've had very conflicted vibes all year,
I
man.
like your vibes tonight, to be clear. But you had them.
We love you for who you are. We just wish you were the old you.
Yeah.
Because we love that one more.
Everyone in the chat spends all day talking about how great my vibes are. On the show,
Well,
all I get...
Lindsay,
Well, we know you better than
vibes are a little weird.
So.
His vibes a little weird. I mean, come on. They're a little weird. That's typical of him to have weird vibes.
Chat, would you rate my vibes? 1 to 10, please.
Vote. How do you analyze the debut of one Boogie Cousins?
Kind of weird. First of all, what a characteristically grumpy man.
He does have
he looked
a
miserable.
scowl. He has his perma
I don't know him, so I'm not commenting on his character or personality or anything.
Yeah.
But just you hear so much about Boogie, he looked miserable from start to finish. But there was a positive effect from Boogie being on the floor before he even started playing well. He was not playing well in that first stint, and you just went, huh, that's a center. Like, he was appropriately sized. He set some mean screens to the point where Scott Hastings went full Rudy Gobert appreciator on the broadcast. We got a lot of screen assist talk tonight. Don't know if we should rebrand as a screen assist community, but
we have got nothing left.
It was fun to watch DeMarcus
We'll
Cousins.
take any dub we get, no matter how small. We'll turn full Utah Jazz if we have to.
But the bench looked good with him, honestly. It was nice to see a appropriately sized man with the bench.
Yeah. I agree with that part. If
find
you
a
look
better
at
way
the
to
stats,
word
if I look at the
everything I
stats,
say.
2 points.
I'm sorry.
6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 of 7 shooting, 0 of 3, and a team worst -4. So if you look at that, you go, man, he didn't have that good of a debut. But I'm with Vogt on this one.
Yeah.
I think just having a large-bodied person out there was meaningful.
Yes.
You know, like he just looked like a large-bodied guy. And here's another thing. I thought Zeke Nnaji had a very good game tonight.
Yep.
And I don't think it's a total coincidence that it happened when he was the second biggest guy on his team rather than the biggest guy. I think that's actually meant something for him. So to me, I'm actually excited with DeMarcus Cousins. I think this was about as bad as he could shoot.
Right.
I don't think he'll shoot 1 of 7 every night.
not.
And so that was like, get the jitters out of the way and you know, he provides something.
I think I look at this as his Bryn Forbes game, where the last game Bryn Forbes was pretty rough, pressing pretty hard, and then tonight he looked really good. So I mean, I definitely Boogie's a great player, you know, like
Really skilled, man.
super skilled. He looks, you know, like he looks pretty slow. He looked pretty slow tonight. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's been some time off, and we've heard that he's had a lingering calf issue. So
Not to mention also
hamstring.
real injuries too. Like you're right, he has lingering current ones, but he's also coming off an Achilles. Like guys just usually aren't as spry when they're 30s.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, we noticed that downstairs too, just talking about like Zeke in the role of a 4 as opposed to an undersized 5, actually getting in, being able to battle for rebounds when who he's up against is not a guy like that's 1.5 times his size. Like he looked a lot more aggressive. He looked like a lot more tenacious.
Strong agree. He was tenacious.
6 rebounds in fewer than 12 minutes off the bench, and I think it was our guy Walter that threw this in the comments. Is a great point. When Boogie was in position and the ball came his way, were you holding his breath for him to get the rebound, or were you just like, oh, that's a rebound?
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's been a lot of the former prior to his arrival this season.
You're talking about Boogie, he's talking about Zeke, but I'm going to keep going with Zeke here because I think that's all right. We're talking about them in context of each other.
Yep.
Zeke tonight goes 5 of 5 and 2 of 2 from the 3-point line. By the way, his 3. I said this earlier on. One of the things I like about Zeke Nnaji's 3-point shooting is his willingness to shoot. He shoots like the shots he has are good shots because he's such a good shooter, but they're not necessarily wide open. They're like guys close out on him like a big. Most bigs won't shoot if you just close out on him. But he's like, no, I'm going up with it. and he hits those ones. Tonight, he, of course, goes 2 of 2, 5 of 5 from the field. And he looked to me like he looked bigger than he has, I think, at all this whole season, in large part because he was going up against Trey Lyles, who, by the way, kind of has some Zeke Nnaji energy to him. They're very similar players. Like, in some way.
Do we think Trey plays the keyboard?
Yeah, not the piano, the keyboard.
No, but I do remember one time Trey Lyles on his Instagram stories, he was building a model airplane or something.
That's some big Zeke
energy.
energy.
Just being like, wow.
That's big Zeke energy.
I'll bet, that's big Zeke Nnaji energy there.
That's true.
Cool. Not ragging on him. I'm just saying. It's like, wow, I didn't expect that one. Very different from Will Barton's Instagram story updates. Very different.
Both include models.
Both include models.
They do not both include airplanes.
Let's go.
Zeke Nnaji was very good tonight.
They do both include airplanes. Just, again, different.
Bryn Forbes, as you mentioned, Eric, was also very good tonight. 4 of 9 from the field. He gets 12 points, 1 rebound. I don't think Bryn Forbes is a stats guy. Points, and I don't know that you look like it rebounds or assists. Those just like happen.
Yes.
In fact, actually, now that I think of it, his 1 rebound was actually a pretty good rebound. Now that I remember it, it was pretty battled. But he shot the ball well tonight. He didn't shoot the ball 13 times, which is also kind of a plus, although he did get up 9 of them. What do you think? I'll start with you this time, Vogt. Bryn Forbes.
I liked the way he played. He finally knocked those floaters down, so that was a relief. I didn't know if we were going to get a full Gary Harris adventure again.
Gary Harris used to be great at those, and then he started doing the weird leg movements and stuff, pushing him, and you're like, what's going on?
We should check in on his floater percentages this year because it is a contract year.
That's right.
But no, there was one. So he only goes 2 of 5 from 3. One of those was just a pure catch and shoot opportunity, and even though we haven't seen Bryn sort of get hot yet, I still was like, oh, that's in. Like, circle of trust shot right there. In a way we have not seen with a lot of these open wing threes. I like this addition so far. Again, he's not going to help you get any stops. That group wasn't getting stopped on anyone anyway. So adding a little offense is fine by me. And I like to see Forbes out there. I do.
A funny Forbes moment, Eric, was when he in the second half because his minutes overlap with Yoke just a little bit. Mm-hmm. They double Yoke in the post, find Bryn Forbes wide open at somehow the rotation didn't meet Bryn Forbes, and it was like nothing but net, super confident, wide open. You're like, oh yeah, that's nice. A knockdown guaranteed make for a wide open 3. It was nice.
It was to do that thing where you're like, oh right, and actually be rewarded as opposed to it just being like.
Then you're like, oh Detroit, you idiots! What are you doing leaving him open?
And that was the lock of the night. Bryn Forbes 3s.
Hey, we made a little money there, didn't we?
Let's go. That is I think that tonight was the Bryn Forbes that was advertised, like what we expected to get. He looked really comfortable, really competent. He didn't really get burned on defense more than maybe once or twice that I remember. So I thought it was great. Like, it felt like a really positive addition. The bench in general, tonight was a great bench night, comparatively speaking to what we've been given. You start and the best part about it was because not just one individual transcendent performance. It was the structure of the bench actually made sense. Yeah. For the first time in a very long time. Having that backup center, having a 2 that can really light it up. Facu in there a little bit, running the show in a way that was super positive and wasn't we were just reliant on him to be something that he can't be.
Right.
I don't think it's a coincidence, not just because it was a sub-500 team, but Facu had a good game.
Yeah, he did.
And I think it's just, a lot of professional sports is just situation. The situation you're put in, specifically when you're a basketball player, you have to rely really heavily on the other 4 players on the floor with you. Unless you're Jokic, you can just do whatever you want. But it's nice when you see something that is just bigger than somebody going into God mode.
So let me ask this. I'll start with you, Eric. Is Davon Reed a good 3-point shooter?
He was 2 of 2 tonight.
2 of 3.
2 of 3 tonight. He's a surprising 3-point shooter.
I would say that too.
Well said.
He is. He's Torrey Craig.
Man,
it's a pure stroke.
I don't know. I feel like that's an insult.
Oh, I didn't mean it this one. I just mean Torrey Craig would knock down a 3 sometimes. You're like, oh, okay. But when Davon shoots it, I'm not like, count it. I'm like, and then it goes in.
Torrey Craig would have nights where he'd be like 4 for 4, 3 for 3, 4 for 4, and all of them look gross. And you're like, no way. And they would go in. I can't tell. I honestly don't know if Davon Reed's a good shooter. I can't figure it out.
He might be a good shooter at this low volume. So it's 1.7 attempts per game right now, and he's up to 41% on the year. Now, typically when a guy's shooting that well on that few attempts, you say, hey, let's push it up and see what you can do. I don't know if Reed is a high-volume shooter, nor do you want him to be necessarily. But I'll tell you right now, if he's open from the corner, someone finds him, I will take that result of a possession.
It's interesting you phrase it that exact way, because tonight he was in the corner, and Yoke forgoed the offense to say, no, I'm throwing. Do you remember this play where he like rocketed it right to him?
I do.
It was almost like shoot it, and he shot it and made it. And I was kind of like, I wonder if he's in Jokic's circle of trust of like, hey, because Yoke was doing whatever he wanted tonight. You could run pick and roll, get in the post, and he would score. But he's like, no, you take this one. They called his number.
Davon, to me, just strikes me as just the most solid player on the Nuggets. Like, he just kind of like, he kind of like does what is required. But I don't know, like, if you ask me specifically, like, what his best skill is, I don't know that I could answer it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think his best skill is?
You're right.
Right? He's just like
I don't know.
dependable.
Defense. It's defense. But
I don't think it is defense. I really don't.
Being dependable.
I'll tell you what, it's funny you brought up the Craig thing because I like him much more as a Jokic ball player than Torrey.
Interesting.
I
you
really
feel
do.
the same way?
Maybe it's because Malone doesn't. Facu, Torrey was Malone's old Facu, so
for sure.
It's not quite the same.
Do you feel that way? That you like him more than Torrey? Torrey was pretty beloved, you know?
Well, we don't have much history with Davon. I do like him.
Yeah.
I do like Torrey Craig was. It's funny because now that he's not on the team, people are and like. It seemed like he might be available. Everyone's like, bring him back. But like last year, everyone's like, get him off the foot. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like he just feels like he's that archetype of player where it's just like he's maybe not as reliable on defense all the time, although he shut down LeBron James. That was incredible. He maybe is not the greatest three-point shooter, but he was 2 of 3 tonight.
Right.
He maybe not be, like an offensive weapon. It just depends on the night with him. He's got a full full assortment of skills, but they don't always come together, but one of them seems to arrive.
Davon Reed might just be awesome. We're not sure if he's a good defender, although he did lock up LeBron James. We're not sure if he's a good three-point shooter, but he is shooting 41%.
Yeah, kind of into just playing Davon Reed.
Actually, maybe it's just awesome.
Yeah.
So now the last guy we haven't talked about, the lightning rod of controversy, is the Tiny King himself, Facundo Campazzo.
Who?
Facundo Campazzo.
Who?
Tonight goes I'm not going to say it another time, 4 of 6 from the field, gets 9 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, as he always does. Now, here's what's interesting. We've talked about Facu. How do you build a lineup with them? There's 2 things you're going to need. A big that rolls to the rim and has the gravity at the rim, and you're going to need shooting. Well, if you look at it, Bryn Forbes, shooter, absolutely.
Yeah.
Zeke Nnaji, shooter, I'm ready to call it, absolutely, especially as a 4.
Sure.
Davon Reed's the swing guy. We're not sure yet, but he's knocking down threes. DeMarcus Cousins is not a rim roll. He's not the ideal one. You'd rather have a lob threat. But as we saw tonight, he does put pressure on the paint, even when he doesn't have the ball, just as hey, we can't let this guy just hang out there. He'll rebound, he'll post, whatever. So you have a little gravity, and then tonight you get Facu having a very nice game, and he looks very comfortable out there. So is this more to do with the fact that it was the Detroit Pistons who were missing half their team, so their second string was really the third string, or is this bench a much more coherent Facu lineup than we've seen?
TBD, right? We can't have this answer until we separate. Like, they did just play a bad team. For however poorly the Nuggets played, or the Pistons played, close it was in the end, that's not a good team. Facu tends to eat those teams for lunch. I also agree with everything you've said, at least on paper, right, about Forbes is a shooter. Zeke is a shooter. Cousins is an actual big.
Yeah.
Every guy on that bench unit has been a victim of that bench's construction, however poorly they've played individually. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. There might be something there, but we do have to pump the brakes and say we got to see it against someone else before we get excited.
For sure. Saying the bench has had a construction is misleading. It's been just there's the starters, and then they just kind of throw whatever's left on the floor at the same time and tell them to figure it out. Tonight felt intentional. Players were intentionally put together. They were selected as opposed to left. And, just considering where we were last game, where the thought of Facu Campazzo was so incendiary that it literally caused a rift between the United States and Argentina. This was a fantastic game by Facu because he just played within himself. He played well by the standards that he wasn't, just sort of like in confusing situations that you could point to him to be what the problem was. It's like, this is what you want. Like, this is what you want from Facu. Like, you want like situational usage where it makes sense. He can get the ball to other people. He can facilitate, but he's not like being just relied upon to be a defender first off. That's always the problem. So, like we won't dwell on it, but Facu had a good game. He had a good game.
Here's the flip side of it. Monte going to the bench earlier now, this rotation means Facu comes on more because that's where the sub is. So Facu, I would guess, played more minutes. I would have to go back and look at the rotation, but played more minutes with Jokic tonight than typical. So I'm kind of curious to see because I don't know if I love that.
Yeah,
I don't love that.
Yeah,
I don't feel like that maximizes Jokic's minutes. So
it went well. They got away with it tonight in that second time, but
here's the other really interesting thing to start to think about. So Jeff Green is going to go back into the starting lineup when he's available. So that means that Austin Rivers goes back to the bench. Does he play?
Back to the
or does he not play at all? I don't know. That's a question to be determined. And then the same thing goes for Bones Highland and JaMychal Green, both of whom should be back before too long. I mean, honestly, on this road trip, maybe as soon as on Tuesday. So Vogt, what does the bench lineup look like when everybody's healthy, based on what you saw tonight? Who's definitely playing?
Jesus. I mean, Facu's in, right? He's just a lock. Like he's a part of this rotation. I can't imagine him not being, whether he should or shouldn't. Bones plays.
Man, you're going out of a way different order than I would have guessed. But okay, keep going. I like so Bones and Facu are the first in.
I think so. Forbes plays.
Malone did say Forbes is going to play as soon as he was traded, as if it was like a determined.
The four is the most confusing to me.
Not me.
Really,
I think it's a lock.
I don't like the three guards, but I think he'll go back to it.
We just go Tiny Kings again. My God.
I kind of think JaMychal Green maybe. I don't know if he should play.
Telling you, he's my biggest lock.
To be in.
It's Michael Malone.
I know.
We're talking about.
I know, man.
Michael Malone is the first guy when we build the rotation.
I think you're right, but when I start to think about what I would like to see, I think I like Zeke as a shooting four alongside Cousins more.
I think you're right.
Give me the locks. Who's in order really of who you think is most likely to be on that second unit? Everybody healthy. Which I think is
okay. So if in this 10-day contract for Boogie Cousins extends long enough so that we see the health of all of the bench come back, I think it's Boogie. I think it's
number one.
Wow. Well, this isn't like I'm just going 5 up.
Okay.
Boogie, J-Mike, Forbes, Facu. Oh man, and this is like where it gets weird. It's like, does Bones get run? I think it's going to be a lot of situational stuff.
Really? Michael Malone is going to be a situational coach.
I just think that he has a lot of like sort of overlapping guys that could.
Is this conversation a drag?
A little bit.
Like when you start to think about it, because you get excited for this or that, and then you're like, hold on, Davon Reed, we're talking about how good he's been playing. Like he's probably out.
I know. Weirdly, Reed seemed like an apparent lock as a Michael Malone guy, and he's kind of been a bubble guy on the rotation, and that surprises me. It does seem like Rivers is out.
Yeah, I think that might be right.
It does seem that way to me.
Here's what I would say is my opinion of the guy. I'm trying to put my Michael Malone brain in. I think JaMychal Green is the lock. He's just playing. He's on a big contract. He's 2 years. Like the team's committed to him. He's playing. I think Facu's a lock. I think Malone has just shown like Facu's his guy. He's a point guard. He's the only one that's a point guard.
He's going to play.
His Laku is locked. So those two are in. I think Bryn Forbes is a lock. They traded for him in the way Michael Malone has talked about him. Again, this is not who I think should be playing. This is what I think Malone's going to do.
I think he should play.
And I think DeMarcus Cousins is a lock going forward, in part because I think Yoke's going to rest a game or two on this road trip, but I think he's also just in when he's healthy. And that leaves the 3 spot as the only spot. Is it Bones Highland? Is it Austin Rivers? Is it Davon Reed? I think it's Bones, but I would not be surprised at all if 1, Bones struggles in that lineup, because that's not a Bones lineup, and 2, if he plays a first half and not a second half. If a lot.
I was just going to say, like, I can see a scenario when maybe there's a little bit of switching between Facu and Bones, maybe Bryn and Bones. Dude, I don't know.
I think what happens is that lineup doesn't work and Bones gets blamed for it. It's like, you're out of there. You missed some assignments. You're gone. So What would you like to see, Vogt? What would be like if Brendan Vogt was in charge of rotations?
I think if your best chance at winning a game right now, maybe it's Forbes in at the 2 over Bones and Reed.
Wow.
But I don't like the idea of not giving Bones this runway.
Right.
Like, he's already been in the rotation. I think he's going to be good. I like the idea of playing Bones more. But when I think about it, do I love the 3 guards? No, I don't.
To Michael Malone's credit, if that is to happen, like, Facu Campazzo won a playoff series against Damian Lillard.
He was a good player last year.
Bones Highland we haven't seen. Like, so if you start to think, like, we're not quite starting to look ahead to the playoffs, but you're almost there, like, it might... I don't know. If it was my preferred, what I would love to see, Bones Highland at the 1. Bryn Forbes will go with 2.
Me too. Try the non-Fox.
Actually, you know what I would rather do? I'd go Bones Highland at the 1, Austin Rivers at the 2, Davon Reed at the 3, Zeke at the 4, and Boogie at the 5. I think that lineup has a lot of spacing, a lot of shooting, and I think it has a chance. It's not going to happen, though.
I like that one, but give me Forbes over Rivers.
You need one defender between Bones and Rivers.
That's a great point.
Bones and Bryn, I think, would just get absolutely destroyed. If you have DeMarcus Cousins on the court, they're just running pick and roll, and it's DeMarcus with Bryn or DeMarcus and Bones every single time. It's tough.
This is a difficult exercise.
It's a really difficult exercise. The story of the Denver Nuggets 2021-22 season. Let's take a break. On the other side, guys, we'll wrap up. We still have to talk about some of the starters. We'll take some super chats. We'll talk to Harrison Wind. We'll go around the association. Man, Vogt has a tough around the association coming up.
No, I don't. I'm just going to pretend I don't see it. No idea what you're talking about. Light Shade is Colorado's premier dispensary, and one of the things you can get at Light Shade, well, first of all, one of the 11 Colorado Light Shade locations
all over, baby,
is Wana, and Wana products are great for helping you sleep if you need to catch up on some shut-eye after the big game, like maybe Jokic just gave the Clippers 50 and you can't sleep or whatever, just some other hypothetical situation. Over-the-counter pharmaceuticals knock you out with powerful drugs that leave you in a fog. Wana Optimal's fastest sleep gummies offer a holistic plant-based solution that tackles the root causes of sleeplessness like stress and pain. So you can get Wana at Lightshade, and if you want to get a good deal at Wana at Lightshade, go to Lightshade and use code DNVR. It's a great deal. You're going to get 25% off. Not that one time, Eric, or the second time.
No, that's got to be only the two one time.
Every time. Every time you go in there, they're going to give you 25% off your entire order. So you'd be a fool not to take advantage of that. Go to Lightshade. Use code DNVR. Then the Colorado Raptors are now, or the Colorado Exos are now the Colorado Raptors. Team of crossover athletes that come from a variety of backgrounds in professional sports. They are now trying their hand at rugby, and they play in Glendale, Rugbyville, USA, right here in Colorado. So really, really fun way to get to know the game. You may not realize that you're in a great spot as an American to get to know rugby when you live right here in Colorado. Those games are free. You can also catch them. They're streamed. So check out the Colorado Raptors, man. Check them out. Rugby's a fun game. And if you find you're hooked, check out the DNVR Rugby podcast hosted by Colton Strickler. He does a great job.
He does do a great job. We good? Back here, final segment. Don't forget, guys, Saturday, live podcast. Do you want to meet D-Line and Vogt and myself maybe? And come play Family Feud. That's one of the games we're going to be playing. A little Family Feud.
No. I don't think we can legally call it that.
Family Feud?
I think we're calling it Family Feud.
Family Feud. Excuse me. I misspoke there for a moment. Be on online with D-Line. What other games we got going on? Should we not tease them all, I guess?
We're bare knuckle boxing.
Bare knuckle boxing. That's right. We're playing tummy sticks for a while.
Yeah. And chicken fights.
Chicken fights, wow.
Between people.
Is that part regulated or no? Is it?
This 100% of this unregulated. This is good.
You can knock Eric into a tank of Rakia.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be a great one.
Yeah, if you can throw the basketball the full length of the court like Jokic, you can knock me into a tank of Rakia.
That would be a fun game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be amazing to watch me dissolve. Just to watch me dissolve like the end of
like Breaking
Indiana
Bad
Jones.
Indiana Jones. All right, third segment here. We got a couple players still to talk about yet. We mentioned Will Barton, so we'll just briefly. I like the Will Barton we got tonight. He does look, and we've talked about this since the first 10 games. His cross-court, like, closeout speed is very slow. He's very slow off the blocks.
He can't change directions.
Maybe this is the new Will, but he does go for 14, 6, and 5. Made the best defensive play, maybe the play of the game, but switching out onto Corey Joseph, getting a stop. Not just a stop, but a steal. And like I said, 5 assists. He had a couple to Yoke that were like, It's exactly. And the game is so easy, you guys. This game is
Get
so
the
easy.
ball
You know what the game is? Be enough of a threat that the defense has to react.
That's right.
And then throw it back to you. If they don't react, score. And if they do react even a little bit, just give it back to Yoke. He'll make some disgusting little 7-foot one-arm thing. Will does that just about as good as anyone on the team not named Jamal.
I'm glad you highlighted that, because with that as really the foundation of the take, I think last 3-4 games, Will Barton's heading in the right direction offensively. I do. 14, 6, and 5 is a good game.
It's a really good
from
game.
the field, 40% from 3. Not a great defensive night until he makes the biggest defensive play of the game. So that's a really good game, and I thought the last 3 games Barton's performances have been defined by doing a much better job of getting Jokic the ball, and to your point, not just getting him the ball, but doing the work to make sure that it's in an advantageous position. The defense can't just recover and double. I think it's been a much better Barton offensively. Not those 26-point to 30-point games maybe we wanted to see in the beginning of the year, but I like his approach right now.
D-Line, is there anything from Aaron Gordon's game tonight? 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. Anything that stood out?
He scored 10 in the first half. Like, he really came out as we expected him to sort of dominate his matchup, and then he kind of just disappeared and got really tight, and he shot a pretty bad 3 at the end. Like, I just want to see Aaron Gordon be Aaron Gordon, like the Aaron Gordon that we know we have when he like Jokic can be physically intimidating and dominating when he wants to be. He has he's a weird thing where he is he's maybe too chill of a bro. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes really he's chill. Like, oh man, why am I harshing the Mel over here? Like, why don't I should be more of a chill bro, but I don't want him to be a chill bro. I want him to harsh that Mel all the time. He's got it, and it's just weird. Like, it's really interesting to learn about players over the course of a season and just understand their tendencies. Errantly analyze their psychology and just like figure out like what it is that makes them tick. And Aaron Gordon's a weird guy, man. Like, you just never quite know what you're gonna. I mean, I love him too, but you just don't quite know what you're gonna get out of him.
I love Aaron Gordon because I think he's a really good Jokic player, and I like just his fit on this team or this or that. But I also like he's got like the Wilson Chandler thing to him too. Like, I loved Wilson Chandler because I just thought he was interesting. Just find him interesting. And same with Aaron Gordon. I just find him interesting, man. I just like him. I like his whole vibe. Let me ask you, were you guys impressed with Cade Cunningham tonight?
Yes.
Yeah. First look at him?
Yes, he's a big guy, man.
He's like Aaron Gordon's build.
He's a really big guy.
Or size.
He does not look like a rookie in any way. He's super confident. He was shooting mid-ranges. He was shooting long-range shots. He was driving. Like, Aaron Gordon drew him defensively for a lot of the game, or at least he got moved onto him at some point.
Definitely.
Aaron Gordon defended him well, but like it was pretty amazing. Like, that did not look like a rookie to me.
What about Rodney McGruder? Did you guys have a little bit of sadness seeing McGruder knock down some threes?
I am genuinely glad he didn't score 19 points tonight off the bench.
That's true.
I'll tell you that.
He only had 6 on 2 threes.
I think this is a good bull trade, the second one. I think that first bull trade was pretty good.
It was a little good, and PJ would have still been around. The vibes maybe just a little bit better.
Hey, we'll see. I like the Forbes edition. I do.
Yeah, Forbes looked really good tonight. Forbes made me not. I didn't even notice Rodney McGruder.
I love that we're like, McGruder, man, he looked awesome. He had 6, but Bryn Forbes had 12.
I know. Bryn Forbes looked great.
He also had 2 threes.
Yeah, he was our lock of the night.
We're so lame.
First off, you're lame.
You guys, I set you up. I expected you to be better.
Cade belongs physically. That was my big note. Physically, you're just like, oh, this is an NBA player.
The funny thing is, me and Eric were talking about this earlier. Like, we're gonna look back at these photos the way we look back at rookie LeBron, where we're like, man, look how little he was.
Yeah.
Because he has a great frame on him. You're right, he looks big, but he also is going to get even bigger. He's going to get pretty jacked, I think. Austin Rivers tonight played 34 minutes, which is a lot of minutes. He has the weirdest role on the team. You're either starting and playing 34 minutes, or you're not playing at all. Tonight he played the 34 minutes. He came up big in the second half, and he came up big in particular. He hit a big 3, but before he hit the big 3, he drove to the basket on like a attack to closeout, and to me, that might be the key for Austin Rivers. Get to the rim 2 or 3 times before you take 3-pointers.
Or just whatever you do, make it quick.
Yeah,
quick decision-making windows or move the ball. That's it. I feel like every time he's decisive, I'm like, oh, you look pretty good.
Yeah. Man, his shooting in the first half was terrible. At one point after he missed his like 3rd 3 in a row, he was like very noticeably angry. He was, like in the same way that he thanks God when he finally makes one. I believe he was cursing God for missing all of these shots. And it worked. God allowed him to make shots in the second. But, I mean, Austin Rivers is it is funny. Like whenever it gets to him, it just every goddamn time that shake thing.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like,
You just never want to see it again.
bro, don't do that.
Yeah, you
like,
just never.
How do you not? Whatever.
I never want to see it again. All right, let's hit some super chats,
We're going
Kale. I
to.
hear we have 10 of them tonight. 10 super chats. Pretty good. Pretty good. Rob
good.
says, Altitude commentary said, hot to trot tonight. Was that a nod to DNVR?
I would hope so.
Oh,
man.
definitely
Vic?
not.
Definitely not. If it was Vic,
Did
maybe.
he say Jokic hot to trot?
Did he say Jokic is hot to trot tonight?
Can we bring the sexy chart up? Do we have
Do
that?
we need a sexy meter here for Jokic
Oh, well,
tonight?
that's a good way.
How
for
was
it to
Jokic
stretch.
tonight? How sexy.
Man.
Oh, Jokic was hot to trot.
I'm going to
tonight.
call it a Sombor Smolder,
say
but
Smolder.
You thought it was a Sombor Smolder?
I thought it was
tonight?
a Sombor Smolder, but I'll tell you what, it was close. It was
right
close
on
to.
right on the.
It almost went a little all the way to the edge. Whatever.
Dude, listen. For me, he's in the red. You never want a race car to be in the red, but Jokic tonight,
Wow.
hot to trot.
Hot to trot. All right, what else we got? Augustine says.
Vogt, you gave up. That's right. Noted Facu hater Brendan Vogt. You left Facu alone when he needed you the most. Being a tiny king like Facu, you followed stats instead of your heart. I gotta say, with that
I
last
miss Dev. Wow, what a super chat. Super chats are just so you can insult us and we'll read them.
particularly
Well, not only
me,
insult it-
apparently.
Insult vote. Mention that the show's not as good because Dev's not here.
Dev's at home right now.
Hey,
Just going.
I gotta say,
Wait, is this from Dev?
It's actually from Dev.
those Facu things I said, that was my eyes. I saw the triple teams. It wasn't the stats, but good to see him play well. I love it. I love it. Come on, you know I love it.
Hey, he
Argentina.
paid to yell at you, man. You
Come
just
on.
take it. All right, what else we get?
I need a new job.
It's so funny how much this pains that it paid. That last show really broke Vote, you guys.
Oh,
Nobody knows.
dude. It was. We were laughing. It was fun. Even though Vogt was completely disheveled, he never. I don't know if you were watching. His arms didn't leave this position the entire show. He was just allowing the hate to flow through him. And then
great.
in the Slack later on, it was clear that it truly broke his spirit.
Poor Vote. Tough times, man. Tough scenes.
Tonight
tough
was much
scene.
better. Tonight was much
Jay
better.
Weaver says Jokic gets no calls as an MVP. What's the bias? I mean, people ask us all. We're playing the hits here. Man, there are some frustrating ones. He's just got to learn. He's got to figure it out. He did get to the line 10 times. I'm not going to totally complain, but I do feel like he could have gotten the line like 4 or 5.
Well,
6
I mean,
more.
he was being aggressive, and he got rewarded sometimes and not rewarded other times. Michael Malone was as apoplectic as he could possibly. Do we have the Malanger meter?
The Malanger meter is very Malanger.
We don't have that. But he was beside himself because he, like you, doesn't understand what it takes to get a foul called on Nikola Jokic consistently in this
Right.
league, because Jokic can be punched, pushed, shoved, tripped. What else have we seen happen to Jokic where a foul did not come from?
Skin removed
Was
from
he
his arm.
Was he stabbed
Yeah.
at some
Stabbed,
point?
yeah,
There was that
stabbed.
game where they shot him in the face. There was
It's
no
the
call.
stabbings that are the worst. All right, what else do we have? Don't know how to read that name. It says the
303 card.
303. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I got it. The Mahomes jersey lady sitting courtside desecrated the vibes, causing the fourth quarter letdown, lifetime ban. Strong agree. I mean, you know what? I wonder if that lady needs attention.
It seemed like she wanted us to look
Can
at
I
her.
actually tell you?
She seemed like she really wanted everybody's attention.
Can I tell you who desecrated the vibes in a way that I don't know that I can look past?
Mitchell?
Mitchell.
Let's do it,
Mitchell.
Mitchell. Let's do it. Big market
Mitchell.
Casey, not really big market.
made a bet including a KC win and was audibly cheering for KC in the bar. I was disgusted. I thought I had a friend. I only have an enemy. He is fired. No more shirts will be going out. Sorry.
So lame. So lame. What else we got? Danny says, with all the Facu hate recently, it has really shifted the scapegoat of the team away from Barton. Barton had a great game tonight, and it was cool to see Ball Arena react positively to thrill again.
Ooh,
You know,
that's awesome. I like that. Note.
yeah, I didn't know that.
Good note,
from
Danny.
watching it. Didn't catch that. But I will say this. You know what really warmed my heart? I don't remember what game it was, man. Actually, I think I do know. It was the Utah game.
Okay.
It was, because I was at the arena along with the party bus. Will Barton made an and one, And like the crowd starts going crazy, and he walked over to the crowd and high-fived a few people, and I just hadn't seen that for a while, and I was kind of like, it like warmed my heart so much, you guys.
Because Will is
dope.
He is the
longest tenured
at DNVR, I am the Chiefs Vibes Officer. I am the CVO.
That's true. That's on your business card.
Yeah, I've not designed it yet, but it is going to be on there. And Will Barton is the heart and vibes of this squad. Like when things are going well, and Will is like, happy, and he, it does. Everyone isn't screaming at him. Like you can just feel it. Like he's a player that is pure heart.
That's like you, DNVR.
I know.
When you're happy and not everyone's yelling at you, you're like a really big part of what we do here.
I don't know when that is though. Like
true.
We've turned a corner here at DNVR. All the same, like I love it too. I love to see. I mean, he is the vibes indicator of the squad. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
He's the heart and soul, man. He really has been. Heartbeat, I think, is the thing.
I'm serious, man. I'm encouraged by the thrill last few games.
Me too.
Part of me wonders if he's coasting into the playoffs, man. Like, I really do think physically, if it's just like, get healthy. I've never done it. I've never been healthy.
Dude, okay, so he has that split. He lands awkwardly. I know everyone said he was hurt for a month, but when he was never on the injury report. I don't think he was hurt, but I do think he went, whoa.
Yeah.
And then he got sick, and then he thought, 82 games is a lot of games to play defense and drive to the rim and get 6 rebounds. We'll see, but maybe he's just lower gear.
Jack Bailey says, did Boogie play 1 minute with Jokic? No, he did not. I don't expect him to, honestly, man. There's so many guys. We keep talking about these lineup combos that one just seems like such a, like, it just seems. I mean, I would love to see it, but I just don't think we're going to see it, guys. I really don't. If he gets signed to the rest of the season, like if he gets an actual roster spot, maybe we'll see it then. But 10 days, I don't think we'll see it. What else we get? Brandon says, any idea who Boogie was talking shit to at the end? He brings a swagger the team is lacking.
It's probably Jokic.
He's like
he just
He looked at the box
old
score,
habit.
He's like, oh wow, I was way off on that.
Really good.
I didn't see that, so I did not.
Either.
You know what?
Well, he did also get a double tech, so one game, one tech.
Like in one game.
So let's go, Boogie.
Hell yeah, dude.
He does.
I don't know if I have the heart for the Boogie experience.
Hey, man, I do agree that he brings a little bit of like toughness. I mean, it can be a positive or a negative sort of swagger. I don't know what you call it.
I don't mind it. I don't mind having one dude who's like kind of a push back, not push over.
I want it. This was not the best of games from Boogie, but it was, like I said, the second unit had a good game, so that's
sure.
and I think he had a big part of that. So we'll see.
It's unrealistic to think he would have a good game this game.
Yeah. All right. What do we got? Edward says, Gary Harris floater greater than Boogie pouting. All right, that's a weird two things to mash up. That's a really interesting mash. Gary Harris floater's better than Boogie pouting. Boogie does have that. You're right, because he brings a swagger, but he also brings like a little pouty thing.
When he like somebody gets caught in his arm, and he goes against him. And you're like, normally I'd be like, oh, eat it, Boogie. But now I'm like, here's a pretty good point. The refs should look into that.
Resting bitch face is a drag.
It's
man.
tough,
like,
dude.
it is tough because there are people that
kills me on this
I have RGF, dude.
What's that?
Resting giggle face.
You do have resting giggle face. Eric's avatar that he drew for himself is him like laughing. So appropriate. So appropriate.
Eric, are you crying or giggling? Like, I don't know.
What else we have? Josh from Down Under says, Joko was like a 350. I can't even do it. A 350 chef in second gear tonight. That was Australian. I read that in.
Did you? Was it?
That was Australian. That was an Australian accent.
The greatest thing. The greatest way to accept money from our viewers is to insult them culturally.
That wasn't an insult. Flattery is the highest form of imitation.
Was that a flattering accent you just did?
No, I was imitating him.
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
There it is. Nailed it. What else we got? Chilo says, assuming everyone comes back, prayer hands. What do you think the playoff rotation?
Dude,
will be?
I don't even know what the
Bro, we
current
just screwed up trying to
is.
think of what Tuesday's rotations were going to be.
question.
So that's too hard, man. I mean, we'll tackle that. We appreciate the super chat. We will tackle
it's a
that,
good
but
question. Maybe tomorrow.
Talking about it now, man, it's just it's too much.
Kel,
It's too much.
refund that super chat.
Jeremy says Davon Reed is
a jote.
a jote, jack of all trades.
Jote!
That sounds like a slur. Jote.
It's also,
See, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't know.
I like
it also
it, dude.
sounds like jack off all trades.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I like it even more now.
He has a jack off all trades.
Did you guys catch me on the Mortcast recently?
Nope.
I know what you're referencing here. We're waiting for Harrison. DeMarcus Cousins is talking right now. Once he wraps up, Harrison will be joining us. But while we waste a little bit of time in the interim, we are going to go around the association.
Way less exciting tonight.
I know it's a bummer one, so we'll be quick here. The Knicks beat the Clippers. That's good for us, guys. That's really good for us.
High five about that, Aaron.
Reggie Jackson scored some points. RJ Barrett scored a few more points. But more importantly, the Clippers are starting to really fall off. Thank God, man. Clippers are going to be a play-in team, man. They're going to be a play-in. I think I'm calling it.
Dude, they shouldn't be anywhere near the playoffs. They're whatever.
They've had a really cursed year.
Yes.
As much, if not more, than the Nuggets.
The Clippers,
They're the only team.
I thought we were going to be, but the Clippers are truly last year's Warriors.
They're a great Ty Lue season away from being in much worse.
That's so true. They would be like the Sacramento level. But they're a play-in team. There's going to be a play-in team. See how they go. Also, really sucks for all the other teams in the play-in. Like, you got to go through the Clippers. They'll be good by the time Paul George comes back. The Celtics, oh, God, I hate to do this. They beat the Wizards, and, boy, Jason Tatum. Do you want to say it?
Doesn't count, actually. But, no, I don't. I don't want to read it.
51 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Those are Jokic numbers, boys.
Dude, is this the 2 consecutive worst days for Vogt on
One
the show?
turnover. Holy shit, that's a really good game.
That is a really good game. He goes 9 of 14 from 3 as 3-ball going. It's funny. If somebody, I think it was Wob posted this. He was like 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 0 for 7 from 3 in his 3 previous games. Then goes 9 of 14.
Oh, he was 1 of 23 in his
really?
last 23
He broke
attempts.
out of it all
People
at
have
once.
been tagging me in
Man,
everything.
Vogt and I were talking about, we were going to tweet out a Jason Tatum is just Kyle Kuzma with a green light. And then he plays Kuzma and just murders him. So, really glad we didn't do that.
This is for the best because if Kuzma had outplayed him tonight, I would have sent some undeletable tweets that I would never be able to.
Jeremy says it's a 2K build, Joe.
The type of 2K player you can build.
Is
Jack
what?
of all trades. Joe.
Oh, okay.
Still
all
sounds
right,
like a slur
gotcha.
to
Hey,
me,
we play
but-
video games over here.
Very digital.
Wow.
Wow, that really, we don't relate to him.
The Heat beat the Lakers. Oh man, the Lakers
let's
suck.
go.
My God, they lost to the Heat.
Oh, we're never gonna get this battle of LA. I mean, we will.
Oh,
The
we will.
playing game.
The playing game. Oh my God, can you imagine? If
Oh my God.
If Kawhi comes back and has a chance to knock them out. Oh my goodness. Hold on, guys.
That just got exciting.
Kel, go to break.
Holy,
My goodness.
Adam's got a jolt over here.
Showed a little
By the way,
bit
you just
wild.
joked Kale go to break, and I went, oh shit. What
The Pavlov duck.
The Magic beat the Bulls. Poor Bulls. They lost Caruso. You guys see that BS
Yes.
hard foul the other way by Grayson Allen? Grayson Allen, man, how does he he only got a 1-game suspension.
well, he should get the benefit of the doubt.
That's what I was gonna say. Is the Bucks are they're everybody's like, oh come on man, he's a good guy or this. That's like no man, that guy.
I don't know if he's a good
He's
guy.
not a good guy. I think we know he's actually not, man. That
At
was
least he smirked when he got ejected. That made it
man,
better.
that guy. The Trailblazers beat the Raptors. What a bummer that one is. I don't really have anything on it. Poor Raptors. But the Trailblazers win. I guess I don't care. The Blazers are down so bad that they're a play-in team too, at best. So
Ooh, Adam,
what
your
do I
boys.
care if they win?
Your boys had a good game though.
Who's that?
The Minnesotas.
Why do you think I like Minnesota?
Because you
'Cause you
said
do.
that they were. Oh, wind is here. Thank God. I mean,
Hold on. Let's finish off the association here. The Hawks beat the Hornets. The 76ers beat the Spurs. Joel Embiid played. He had 38, 12, and 6. Pretty good game.
Pretty good.
Dominated Jakob Poeltl. The Grizzlies lost to the Mavs. How do the Mavs keep doing this? They can't keep getting away with it. They're not good.
They might be good.
They might be good, and I don't get it. The Timberwolves beat the Nets. D'Angelo Russell is the high point scorer there, 23 and 10. And then the Warriors beat the Jazz. Wow.
And I hear tale that Gobert may have gotten injured.
Oh no! I don't
Are you
like
serious?
that.
I read it in the chat.
Gobert got hurt, huh? Well,
I don't know. I have no.
we'll have to get updated on that.
I
a
get
little
all of
bit
my
later.
news
All
from
right.
the chat.
Around the association is over. Let's go back to Ball Arena where
there
one
he
Harrison
is.
Wind is reporting live.
Cardigan wind.
Cardigan Wind is in the house. Wind, how was
Carter
the
Wind.
debut of one Boogie Cousins?
It was eventful. It was very eventful. I just got to cut to the chase. I got flamed for my cardigan in the post-game presser. I don't know if the chat was talking.
What? No,
I don't know
that's
if you guys heard.
That's awesome.
I got called out for my cardigan.
For what? By who? First of all, by who and what was
You
said?
know who?
It was by Michael Malone, and I think he was making a Mr. Rogers comparison.
Oh, wow. Pull
Yeah.
up a Mr. Rogers picture. Find one with him
It
in a
was
cardigan.
it was a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's for sure.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Is that what Malone says? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood win? Yeah. Wow.
Holy shit.
You don't
Coach
recover
of the year.
from that.
Coach
man.
of the year.
You don't recover from that.
All I got to say is
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
2-0.
Look at this.
Yeah. All I got to say is I'm 2-0 wearing the cardigan. That's
All right. Well, yeah. Put that in
Nuggets
your
are
pipe.
2-0 with the cardigan.
Man. Well, down bad. You're down real bad. All right. So take us inside the arena. Take us inside the post game. What do you want to share?
Well, I guess we'll start with Michael Malone. He was in a real chipper mood tonight, as you can probably tell. Just firing off jokes left and right. But he was talking about, of course, DeMarcus Cousins. I feel like that was probably the biggest storyline tonight. His debut, and the Nuggets bench looking competent. And, Malone was talking about his relationship with DeMarcus, and he said, look, I know what this guy's been through. After playing really well in Milwaukee, he was just sitting at home waiting for a call. And then Malone said, I don't know if people were scared of him or what. I'm not scared of him. I love him. And I'm really happy he's on this team. Malone and Cousins, I don't know if you guys saw, they had this embrace at the third quarter buzzer. Like, Boogie had a really rough first half. I thought I did some better things in the second half. But then right when the third quarter ended, they went over to the bench. Cousins went over to the bench, and he and Malone embraced. And it was this really cool moment. But Malone was talking about that there too. So
nice. Malone and his
it was
hugs.
cool. It's really
hugger.
cool to see those two back together.
All
Do you
right.
think that I'll ever get a hug from Malone?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
Okay.
don't think
Yeah,
you
actually,
will.
I actually feel that same way. Okay, go ahead, Harrison.
Yeah. Malone also shouted out the rest of the bench. He thought Zeke played really well tonight. Gave Davon Reed a shout. He said that group, the bench group, it's got to be dirty. It's got to be nasty. It's got to get stops and then get out and run. That group can't just be about whether they're making shots or not. They got to play defense, get stops, and get out and run, and that's what they did today.
Okay.
Austin Rivers had a nice night tonight. We talked with him in the postgame, which it's always a treat to talk to Austin Rivers. But Malone and Austin
so much.
Yeah, he just totally gets the media thing. It's incredible. More players should take cues from him. But Malone was talking about how he had a chat with Rivers recently about, look, he might be in the rotation one night, he might be out of the rotation one night. They've got Bryn Forbes in here now. Sure enough, tonight Austin Rivers starts, and Malone pretty much just said they had an honest conversation about that, and he tries to do that with all his players.
Honest conversation, and then he gets the start. But it also makes sense. Who else was going to start tonight? I mean, come on.
For sure.
Rivers is in that really classic spot where he makes most sense out of the rotation or starting.
Or in
one or
the
the
highest
other.
leverage
Right.
moments.
Yeah, it's the Dante Jones phenomenon.
For sure.
So we also asked Rivers about that chat, and Rivers also shed a lot of light on it, actually. He was saying how, look, we both went over things that we both have done wrong, things that we both have done right, things that he can do to help me, things that I can do to help him. And so Rivers just said it was really honest. And then Austin had this great quote. He goes, "I'm a pro, bro."
I'm a pro, bro.
That's the way. That's
We'd
how
love
I.
that.
That's how I announce I'm a pro to people.
I'm a pro, bro.
Be like, bro.
It was kind of
pro
mine
here.
was look, I've been through this before. I've been a starter on teams. I've been a bench warmer. I've been out of the league. I've been fighting for minutes on a lot of different teams by now.
Okay.
I'm a pro, bro.
I'm a pro.
All right.
Or was he saying I'm a pro, bro? He's a professional
I'm
bro.
a pro.
Keep it moving, Harrison. We got to get out of here. The giggler is killing me.
Austin also was just flaming the Pistons in his post-game presser.
What?
He was talking about how, kind of flaming them without really trying to flame them. Let me explain. He was talking about how, it's tough sometimes to play against bad teams because these are his words. They don't have anything to play for. They're not going to the playoffs. They have guys trying to get contracts and get new deals and make money and fighting for their lives. what's the worst they're going to do? Lose? That's what they've been doing for most of the season. So I think that's a little bit of insight onto why teams sometimes struggle with under 500 teams, like Denver did tonight for a lot of this one.
All righty. Okay. What else?
I asked Austin about what goes through his head when the Nuggets trade for Bryn Forbes, guy who plays the same position.
Good question.
Guy who he's probably competing with for playing time. And Austin, I don't know if he was being 100% truthful with this. He said he liked the move because they both do different things. I think this is correct. Austin's more of a defender. He's a little taller. He's a little longer. Bryn Forbes is obviously a shooter. So they do different things. But Austin said, he liked the move. And he's really excited for Bryn Forbes to be here.
All righty.
We also talked with DeMarcus Cousins tonight.
Oh, wow.
He was asked how he felt, not playing since his 10-day contract ended with Milwaukee and making his debut tonight. He said he felt like he had 2 cement blocks on his feet.
He kind of looked like it, so I am not surprised.
Yeah. I really like this from Cousins. He was talking about his impressions of the Nuggets team, just what he thinks of this group. And he said, quote, so much potential. We got a chance to do something special. Offense is not an issue at all for this team. It's all about defense. But it really sounds like he's a believer in what this team can do and the ceiling that this team has. And, of course, he was talking about Michael Malone, his relationship with him and all that. And, Malone has kept in contact with DeMarcus Cousins since the Sacramento days. I doubt he's kept in contact with any other players, that he coached that long ago. But he always had a special relationship with Cousins, and he honestly, really, really cares about him as an individual. And Cousins pretty much just said, that's genuine love, what we have between one another. And he said, I didn't think it was actually possible in this business, but it turns out it is.
Do you have any sense of if Boogie and Jokic have had any conversations or what that dynamic has been like in the few days they've spent together?
Cousins was asked about him tonight, and he just pretty much just said he's a great player. He just keeps getting better and better. He does all the right things off the court as well. So I think Cousins, fully recognizes that Jokic is that guy. And it's funny because I actually asked Jokic after the last game a couple nights ago if he could ever see him and DeMarcus playing on the floor together at the same time. He said no, a pretty firm no.
Cool.
I
that
like
settles
that.
that then. Yeah.
I like that.
I'm pretty shocked by that, to be honest. All right.
Yeah, he gave a pretty firm no the other night.
Okay.
But I think DeMarcus knows his place on this team. He talked about that a bunch tonight too, just coming in, doing whatever they need me to do, taking some of the young guys under my wing, teaching them some things about the game, about the league. I think he's kind of just bought into doing what he has to do on and off the court to try to get, a fully guaranteed contract for the rest of the year.
It definitely seems like he wants one, and we're better than with Michael Malone, so it'll be interesting. This is such an interesting audition period for DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. And honestly, man, he looked awful in the first half. I thought in the second half he showed where he can bring value. I mean, he brings a level of physicality that the Nuggets just don't really have on their roster.
For sure.
The first thing I noticed about Cousins tonight was how good of screens he sets. And I think that says one thing about Cousins, but that also says a lot about the rest of the Nuggets roster.
Definitely.
And he gets into guys, he battles, he fights for every rebound. I don't think he looked good tonight. He might not look great over the next 20 days, but I think he has certain intangibles that this team is missing and that can really help.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very curious for this experiment. It's a tough 6-game road trip. It's basically the entirety of his 10 days, so we'll see. It's tough. And then get an easy one. All right. Anything else?
That's all I got. The Nuggets are about to go on a 6-game road trip in 9 days. A 6-game, 9-day road trip. I'm pretty certain that's never happened in the league before.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Sweet.
That's
Set a
really
new
exciting.
record.
That's really exciting.
All right. Well, Harrison, thanks so much for the report. Get home safe. We'll see you tomorrow. We do our show. Oh, he's out of here. So, all righty.
Dude, he's so good at that.
He is so good at
He's the dev of.
He is the dev.
He's the dev of this show.
All right, cue that outro music, Kel. These shows always go like an hour 20. I just plan on an hour 20 now because of how long it takes everybody to get out of the shower.
I know. Do you think that Harrison could just like maybe drop a question like, hey, it seemed like you took a long time to get out here to the podium tonight?
I would love that if somebody just started doing passive-aggressive questions. Like, hey, first question, yeah.
First question, do you think yours is the only time that matters?
I have a family. That's a statement.
That's a statement. Sorry, that's all I can think of. All right, everybody, thanks for riding with us tonight on this Sunday and for this entire homestand. This was a fun one.
Not last game, though. That was a little rough.
That one was a little rough.
Yeah,
you know
4-2. That's
4-2.
outstanding.
4-2. Outstanding per Michael Malone. Par per Adamades. You guys determine what you feel about it.
Me, I thought I was above average. I got rated an average of 12 on vibes in the chat earlier.
Out of 100?
I don't know. Unclear.
Unclear about that one. All right.
12 units of fun.
Thanks so much, everybody. Don't forget, become a DNVR member. Spend $5 a month. You support us. You keep us running, but also you get access to all of our premium content. And then, of course, bookmark if you're in town this Saturday. A live show. Very excited for it. We wish when we started DNVR. Remember this, Eric? We're like, we're gonna be doing live shows all the time. We're gonna
And then
live
we were
with a panel guest.
I know. And then we were like, hey, let's watch Love is Blind because we're not allowed to touch people.
We're not allowed to see anyone.
There's no sport.
My parents moved in for a while.
Anyway, Saturday, gunny sack race, boiled egg challenge.
Kill hooked us.